Russell Crowe is a bad boy megastar, an Oscar winner and prolific actor, film producer, and yes, also a musician. His big break came 20 years ago when he was the warrior Maximus Decimus Meridius in Gladiator. That film earned him an Oscar, and something of a bad reputation for his behavior on set. Crowe was born in New Zealand, but he has spent most of his life in Australia. He's kind of a man's man, the kind of guy you are likely to find on a cricket or rugby pitch. And there is just no denying his talent. His career has been eventful. Here are 10 facts you never knew about Russell Crowe's long and successful career. Number 10. Movies in the blood. Young and hungry. Movies are in his family's blood. His grandfather was a cinematographer. Russell's parents were movie set caterers in New Zealand. When Russell was 4 years old, they moved to Australia and pursued a film catering work there. That brought Russell to the attention of film and TV producers and directors, and next thing you know, he's doing turns on local Australian TV. He got bit by the acting bug, and when he was 16 years old, he left school with the avowed intention of pursuing a career in acting. He did well. Number 9. Sweet Transvestites, Rocky Horror Picture Show. It's 1986 and Crowe is knocking around Australia and New Zealand, and suddenly it's music meets camp. Apparently, Crowe let it all hang out when at the age of 24, he played Dr. Everett Scott and Eddie in the Down Under production of the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Apparently, he really enjoyed himself, getting 2 out of his camp musical side. He has said the role was a launching pad for his career. After the show, he made a life-altering decision and left New Zealand to pursue his acting career. Number 8. Rockabilly meets grunts. The music. In the 1980s, in between acting gigs, Russell worked as a rockabilly singer. Believe it or not, he called himself Russell Rock. Next came a rock band that ended up with the unlikely name 30-odd Foot of Grunts. No, we have no idea either. The band did pretty well and coincidentally were on tour in the US when Gladiator was released. The tour did extremely well. It probably had something to do with movie fans having seen a buff Russell in his skimpy Gladiator outfit. Throughout his career, Crowe has had a musical element as a constant. The guitarist/singer learned to play the violin for his role in Master and Commander. Number 7. LA Confidential, of tiny apartments and playing a thug. When Crowe got the role of thug cop Bud White in 1997's LA Confidential, he was thrilled. Then he thought, OMG, the way James Ellroy's novel and the screenplay are written, the guy is supposed to be huge and tougher than tough. How am I going to be able to pull that off? Well, he rented a tiny apartment that was so small he had trouble getting through the doors. That meant he felt bigger and tougher. Problem solved. The film was probably one of his best. Number 6. Forget the cartoons, he turned down Wolverine. When the X-Men people came calling in 2000 to offer him the role of Wolverine, he thought about it for a second or two and said, no way. Number 1, the movie was kind of a fantasy cartoon, which was not his thing at all. Secondly, he thought the role of Logan/Wolverine was too similar to his role as Maximus in Gladiator. The wolf thing was just too much for him. Crowe's loss was Hugh Jackman's gain and fortune. Number 5. An elderly Robin Hood, dealing with the flack. When Ridley Scott cast his 2010 film Robin Hood, he put Russell Crowe in the title role. He was 45 years old and reportedly the oldest ever to play the 12th century marauder. Well, there was a lot of criticism, and Crowe ended up losing a lot of weight to take on the role. At the end of the day, the oldest Robin Hood didn't do all that well. Due to the film's poor performance at the box office, plans for a sequel were scrapped. Errol Flynn, he wasn't. Number 4. Cinderella Man. Everybody loves a comeback. Depression-era boxer James Braddock was nicknamed Cinderella Man. Why? Well, there came a point in his career when he was being referred to as a has-been. But, against all odds, he made a comeback, winning a championship. After that, he was forever Cinderella Man. In 2005, Crowe plays Braddock in Ron Howard's Cinderella Man. Despite having dislocated his shoulder during filming, Crowe has gone on record saying playing Braddock was his favorite role. Number 3. Body of Lies and Unhinged. Cheeseburgers for breakfast? Okay, he lost weight for Robin Hood, but for 2008's Body of Lies, he has said that he put on 63 pounds. It was cheeseburgers for breakfast for quite a while. Crowe played a sneaky spy opposite Leonardo DiCaprio's FBI agent. When Ridley Scott came calling again, asking Russell to do his 2020 film Unhinged, Crowe said yes to the role and no to the weight gain Scott wanted him to undertake. It looks like he opted for the fat suit this time around. No more cheeseburgers for breakfast, we're afraid. Number 2. meticulous, or a pain in the proverbial. When Crowe tells a director he wants to go over every detail, he means it. Every single little detail. Curtis Hanson, director and writer who worked with Crowe on LA Confidential, has called him an actor of 1,000 questions. Crowe, as we have seen in LA Confidential and Body of Lies, will do anything to get his character down pat. Now, there's good news and bad news. Hanson appreciated his approach. Some directors considering him a pain in the proverbial backside. Also, with a quick temper, Crowe has also earned a rep of being difficult on set. Some directors run a mile. Number 1. Has he had enough of Hollywood, or vice versa? Some say that Russell Crowe yearns to spend more time in Australia and less in Hollywood. Some say his career has slowed down, with lesser roles in lesser films. At 55 years old, he tends to play old, sometimes fat, men in films. It's true that many of his recent films have, as far as IMDb is concerned, slipped into the 5 or 6 out of 10 star range, particularly in 2017's The Mummy. Tom Cruise and Russell Crowe in a mummy film? Who'd have believed it a few years ago? Time to spend some more time down under? Maybe, just maybe.